Welcome to the Erectile Dysfunction Radio podcast, where we tackle the facts, debunk the myths, and provide real solutions to help you take control of your sexual health and confidence. I am Mark Goldberg, certified sex therapist and host of the show. For any men who are serious about resolving ED or any other sexual challenges, we encourage you to visit our website, eiqmen.com. You'll find additional resources and you can reach out to us directly with any question that you have, or you can schedule a 15-minute consult with myself or one of our team members. We're passionate about helping men like you, so please do not hesitate to get in touch. Today, our guest is Susan Bratton, often called the intimacy expert to millions. She's a leading voice in sexual wellness, longevity, and what she calls sexual biohacking. Susan is a CEO and co-founder of two enterprises, Personal Life Media Incorporated, her digital platform for intimacy education, and The 20 LLC, which develops libido support supplements and vitality tools. She has authored over 30 books and programs on sexual connection, communication, and wellness. What sets Susan apart, though, is her commitment to lifelong intimacy. She teaches that sex is not just about age, or is not something that must decline with age, I should say. It can evolve, deepen, and even improve over time. So in this episode, we're going to talk with Susan about expanding your Sexspan, how maintaining sexual wellness can boost health, deepen relationships, and amplify other practices of longevity and vitality.
Hey, Mark. So good to be here. I've been looking forward to doing a segment together.
Yes,
You know,
I've been looking
you know what
forward to
else?
having you. Yes.
You know what else they call me besides the intimacy expert to millions? They call me the queen of peen.
Okay, so
So much.
we're gonna definitely dive into that. So Susan, to get it started, can you explain to our listeners what you mean by this term sex span?
Yeah, totally. So people are really familiar with the term health span, extending not just living longer, but living longer with more health. So now we're living longer than our parents. How do we make that keep from getting decrepit? And sex span is basically just a part of longevity. And it is that there are 4 factors to longevity, healthy living. One is diet, what you put in, right? One is exercise and movement, keeping things moving. The third is sleep, recovery, so you do well. And then the fourth is intimacy. But most people don't talk about intimacy because everybody's afraid to talk about sex. Oh my God. It's like, I mean, I can't even tell you, Mark, how many times I've gone on a podcast and the podcaster starts off introducing me and then goes, if you have any little kids in the audience, you better, like, I'm going to talk about this, like, oh my God, I'm going to talk about sex. And I make them do it over. I'm like, don't shame people for listening to the sex episode. We need people to hear these things. And if I had a nickel for every person who said to me, my parents never told me anything about sex. They never showed any sexuality. I never even knew if they were sexual. I know they had me, so they must have had sex once. And people walk around with this victimhood around sexuality. So the shame about talking about sex is so endemic that it doesn't even register when we're talking about living a longer, happier, healthier life. But if you look at
For too long, men have been told that pills, supplements, and devices are the only way to manage and resolve erectile dysfunction. If you are one of the millions of men who know that their sexual function and overall experience is not just physical, EIQ is here for you. Our one-of-a-kind, self-guided e-course is designed to empower you to jumpstart your process of addressing performance anxiety, building confidence, and enjoying sex again. No gimmicks, no pills, just real solutions for men who want them. Try our course today at erectioniq.com.
all of the data that's been done, all of the longitudinal longevity data that's looked at sexuality as an impact to long-term health and happiness, it's significant. Most of them are studies about men, and they're mostly about ejaculating. So orgasmic extension, continuing to keep the systems flowing. That has an impact on your health, a big one, but it's also the generation of oxytocin, the neurotransmitters that are released, the hormones that flood your body, the natural killer cells that are created while you're having orgasms are the cells that are like the little Pac-Man that eat up the zombie cells, the senescent cells, the broken cells, the precancerous cells. They keep your system, your mitochondrial production flowing. Not only that, it's a mood booster, it's a vascular event. I mean, there are just so many reasons. I'm actually speaking at the Health Span Summit next week in LA, doing a keynote on Sexspan, and I have 5 slides of the sciencey benefits of continuing to have long-term sexual pleasure. And for most people, what happens is they start to get erectile dysfunction, or their women, their female partners, start having painful sex, thinning of the vaginal tissue. Everybody gets loss of sensation. They struggle to achieve climax, and they don't do anything about it. Now, your listeners are here to do something about it. And these are my people, Mark. These are my people, because there's so much you can do with regenerative sexual therapies to reverse the atrophy of aging, and then to go on to do sexual biohacking to have the best equipment of your life.
Let me ask you, because this is a really curious point. I go to the doctor pretty regularly. They ask me about sleep. They ask me about diet,
Yeah.
exercise,
Yeah.
and they'll ask a question like, "Are you sexually active?" But I don't think I've ever been asked, like, how often are you ejaculating? Are you
Right.
making sure you're keeping up with that?
Yeah.
Outside of the shame that people associate with sexual activity, do you think
Mhm.
there's any other reason why that is not something which is standardly being asked?
Well, it's not taught in medical school, and it's not taught in medical school because we presumed when medical school created their curriculums that everyone was going to have, you know, one partner for life, and we didn't have much information about it. So, yeah, I mean, it's endemic shame. It's cultural.
Okay. Now, when you bring up this concept of sex span, how do cultural attitudes impact the way people react to this notion?
Generally, people are like, "Oh God, right? That totally makes sense." But remember that the people who choose to listen to me, like nobody who is doesn't want to talk about sex listens to your show. They're trying to fix their EDs so they can maintain their sexual life, right? They're not doing it just because they want a firm erection. They're doing it because they want to have sex with that firm erection. So they're not afraid of sex. So one of the reasons I love podcasts is that the audience is self-selecting. And when they're listening to a segment about Susan Bratton, that's what they're going to be talking about. So I'm naturally attracting the people who want and care about their sexuality and want to fight for it. Same with sexual biohacking. When I talk about that, people are like, yeah, tell me more. Also, bodybuilders have the right frame of mind because they're really used to doing the work to get the results, and they want to have health, full body health. Another group that's really, really interested in sex span is longevity and wellness people because they're actively trying to stay healthy longer. Another one is interesting, entrepreneurs, like growth mindset people in the self-help, mastery, people who want to be the best at everything, who want to live one of those lives that is really where they just keep getting better and better and better. They're growth mindset oriented. Those people are also interested in sexuality. And then, of course, anybody that is on that's watching or listening to sexuality podcasts is also a big part of the market. So they're out there. But if you looked at a general cohort of US citizens in this case, about 15% of them are interested in their sexuality, and about 85% are in the kind of the miasma of our culture around what sex is and what they can expect, and they're going to age out, and they're bought the party line.
So, Susan, what does the research tell us, if anything, about links between sexual activity and how long somebody lives?
Yeah. Mostly, as I said, it's men's data. And you'll typically find that for every decade that you continue to be sexually active, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, that you'll get a year or two additional health span in your life. That's a rough estimate based on a number of studies.
So meaning the longer somebody stays sexually active,
The more healthy
this
years
is
they add to the end.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're saying it's pretty
Significant.
critical,
Yeah.
right, to be investing in that part of life. Does that data hold true whether that's solo sexual activity, or partnered sexual activity?
Nobody's done the studies, but the studies are primarily male ejaculatory. And so it doesn't really matter whether you're self pleasuring or you're ejaculating with a partner. But what I can tell you is that partner sex is significantly healthier for you than just solo sex because you also get some of those other benefits. Oxytocin is really a powerful hormone. It's a master hormone and it's generated with skin to skin contact. And it really, really helps you love people more, feel more awe in general about things like beauty, nature, music, art, that kind of the pleasures of life. And it elevates your mood. It helps reverse anxiety and depression. It also keeps your waist trimmer, interestingly enough. It's a funny little thing where it actually has some benefits of keeping you slim around the middle, which is super helpful as you go into midlife. So there's lots and lots of reasons why oxytocin as a master hormone is very, very beneficial for partnered pleasure.
That oxytocin, is that released with any skin to skin contact? Or is there
Yeah.
like particular like threshold or levels that we're trying to hit that happen through more pronounced sexual activity, including penetrative sex?
You can get oxytocin released from petting your dog. So it's love, it's connection, it's contact, it's intimacy, it's relaxation. Skin to skin helps a lot, and women actually naturally produce more than men do. So we help you get more oxytocin. That being said, gay men produce plenty of oxytocin together. It's not a problem. The thing that holds you back from producing oxytocin is having had rounds of antibiotics that kill off the bacteria in your gut that works with your adrenal system and the HPA axis to make oxytocin. And the bacteria that you want to repopulate in your gut is called Lactobacillus reuteri. There's two avenues to getting it in. One is a simple probiotic, and the other is making yogurt from the probiotic strain at home and then eating the yogurt in your smoothies, your morning breakfast bowls, things like that. It's delicious yogurt, and that's what I do. And there's a significant improvement in overall health and happiness when you repopulate those stores. And most of us are running around with maybe not even any L-reuteri left in our system. Anything that I talk about on the show as well, where people are like, where do I get that? I always put all of my I have like a recommendation page, like, Susan's favorite things, and that's at drivedesire.com. And you can see the Lactobacillus reuteri supplements there that you can get and just take orally or make your own yogurt. I have an video on YouTube on my YouTube channel as well. My YouTube channel is Better Lover, Susan Bratton, Better Lover. And it's about how to make that oxytocin yogurt. I show you step by step. It's super easy and it's tasty. And then you don't fill up your trash can with plastics and you don't fill up your body with thickeners. And I mean, making your own yogurt is one of the easiest things in the world. I'll also add that the other thing I recommend guys make for ED is my vinaigrette. You've got to eat a lot of leafy greens to get the nitric oxide production that you need in your body. And nitric oxide is what the PDE5 inhibitors use to, keep your penis filled with blood and hard. But if you don't have to take a pharmaceutical and you can just get a nice erection, a nice firm erection that you can maintain and go soft and get hard and go soft and get hard, that's really from nitric oxide helping you do that. That's a big part of the process. And leafy greens and beetroot are what you need to eat to do that. But if you dump a bunch of bottled dressing on your greens, you think you're doing a great job. And then you're putting thickeners and sugars and, all kinds of junk in your system. You're clogging your arteries up. So I have a vinaigrette that I recommend called Viagrette, like Viagrette, like your vinaigrette that's like Viagra. And that's on my YouTube channel too. And it's easy. You can make it in a jar, shake it. It keeps in the fridge for a long time. These are two of the best fundamental things a guy can do to keep ED at bay or to reverse atrophy and erectile dysfunction and to go on to regain his full erectile function.
Yeah, so we'll definitely add the links to those,
Cool. Thank you.
websites and products and whatnot
Yeah.
in the description of the episode. But I want to come back to like this concept that a lot of the benefits can happen even without like penetrative sex, or it sounds like even without an erection, just by getting that like skin to skin contact. And I think this is like such an important point because so many people, like when they are in a relationship and either themselves or a partner encounters a sexual function challenge, it's almost like where they throw in the towel. I feel like it's time to hang it up. And what you're sharing is it is like mission critical for people's like health span and their overall well-being to continue to maintain a sexual relationship, physical contact of sorts, even if erections or penetrative sex is not necessarily going to be an option as consistently moving forward.
God, there's so many fun things you can do in bed. You don't need an erection, but you can have one by using the regenerative therapies and treatments that help. There's a couple of things that I wanted to show you. In my hands, I'm holding up a bunch of devices. A couple of them are a couple of them are basically cock rings for men with erectile dysfunction. I want to show you a couple of different of those, but I also want to show you a really interesting tool for men who have intractable erectile dysfunction. Some guys, they have diabetic neuropathies or things like that that they just can't reverse. And there's a really fun toy that works to give a flaccid penis on an orgasm while supporting the female vulva. It's called the Pulse Duo. It's from Hot Octopus. It's at drivedesire.com as well. Everything I'm going to talk about is there, so don't worry about remembering all the names for now. You can just go there and click. This uses a pulse plate technology. You put your penis in here and the frenulum sits on here and it stimulates and sends vibration into the penis that has the effect of giving a guy an orgasm without erection, without firmness. But what's interesting is that this side is a ride-on vibrator for her. So you can essentially be like woman on top or missionary position or something like that. And, or side to side, laying on your sides together. And she can be giving herself orgasms with this vibrator while he's getting orgasms with this pulse plate technology. And it has a remote control, so she can kind of turn things up and turn things down as she wants to. And I really love this for couples who are in the process of reversing his penile atrophy, but they still want to keep their lovemaking going. This is have you ever seen this tool?
Yes.
You know about it.
Yes.
Oh God, you should have told me.
No, I mean, it's for our listeners. So
Yeah, it's such a good tool, don't you think?
yes.
I like it too. Yeah, so I think that's really good. And then, okay, so you've
You can also
probably,
use these tools if you're getting erections too. I want to be clear.
you can use this tool with erections for sure. We're just happen to be talking about ED right now. How about Mystery Vibe? Do you know about both of these?
Let me take a closer look. Nope. Go ahead.
Okay, so these are really cool. Mystery Vibe is a sex toy company that sells primarily through urologists and gynecologists. So they have medical grade, clinical backed toys, and there's two here. And this particular one is the Tenuto, and this is the Tenuto Mini. And what's interesting about it is that this is a very, very good double vibrating cock ring for a man who has difficulty maintaining an erection. If he can get hard, he can put this on. His balls kind of hang down through here. And I'm sorry, his balls hang down through here and his penis sticks out here. And this is a vibrator for his perineal area. So it gives him additional perineal stimulation. And this is a vibrator for her clitoral structure. So as they're having intercourse, she can use this vibration and he's got this vibration and it's holding him firm. This one, and this is good for medium to small size guys. This is not good for men with large and very girthy penises. It would be a little too tight. And then this is the Tenuto Mini. And this one is similar technology. It doesn't have the perineal stimulation. It's only the female stimulation, but it really holds the blood in the penis super well. And then if you are a bigger guy, this is from Hot Octopus, the same people that make the Pulse Duo. And this is called the Atom, and it is a vibrating cock ring, and you can get quite a large penis in here. And the reason that I make distinctions about penile dimension is that I am very involved in helping men with male enhancement to use a stack of modalities that are basically wrapped around a penis pump, a vacuum erection device, so that they can reverse atrophy and then go on to improve overall penile volume and even make their penis bigger, thicker, longer, girthier, lengthier, etc. And so I've been helping men for 7 years use a vacuum erection device correctly to get the gains and the benefits that they're looking for. And I can tell you more about that too.
So I want to hear a little bit more about like in the ED space, because erectile dysfunction is really viewed as an aging issue for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We talk about it as diminished blood flow, less receptive to stimulation, other physical ailments that are contributing. So how is erectile dysfunction viewed through a Sexspan lens?
Yeah. So I can only tell you how it's viewed through my Sexspan lens, Mark. But I've had success. I've helped nearly 20,000 men reverse ED. I have been the spokesperson for a company called Gainswave for 7 years, and I've been with the Dr. Joel Kaplan as their official company spokesperson for 7 years. And the reason that I am is that I went to both of them and I said, "What you're doing is incredible. You're going to help so many men. Let me help. Let me help you. Let me spread the word about what you're doing." So the combination of Gainswave, which is acoustic wave, and with a vacuum erection device that I like, which is a dual cylinder system called the Whopper from Kaplan. Those two things combined with nitric oxide supplementation, as well as an increase in eating your leafy greens and your beetroot, that tends to be a really, really good combination. You also have to check your testosterone levels, because if you're really low in testosterone, it's going to impact your ability to reverse erectile dysfunction. And then you can add things like a penile stretcher. So stretchers can work really well. I don't recommend jelqing to men generally or hand stretching because I see so many injuries that I prefer more stable mechanical devices, but these extenders work really well, and so does red light therapy. Photobiomodulation can really be good for wrapping around your penis pump. Let me see there it is. You can see it if you're on YouTube. You can see the red light can wrap around your penis and your balls, and it can also wrap around your cylinder that you're using for pumping. And these things in combination with the acoustic wave treatments of Gainswave work incredibly well to reverse the large majority of men's erectile dysfunction. So yes, life creeps up on us. We eat too much barbecue and bad fats and French fries and sit too much and don't have enough regular ejaculatory function, and we lose our nighttime erections, and then we don't wake up with morning wood, and then we start to have sensation loss because the vascular retraction, the nerves retract as well because there's no blood supply anymore. So as men see their penis shrink and see the veins retract and notice that they have trouble either getting blood flow in or holding blood flow in, or they have an erection, but it's now a bendy noodle. These are all things that happen to many men due to lifestyle choices and endocrine disruptors and eating out of plastic. I mean, there's a lot of things working against us, as you know. And the good news is that for men, it's pretty easy to use these devices and get that function back. You don't have to live with it. It's just like thinking that a woman who's going through menopause is done having sex. Like, sex gets better. I'm 64 and my sex life is incredible, better than it's ever been. Why? Because you get better at sex as you get older if you keep learning new things and having new experiences. It's mastery.
Yes. So just like a reminder to our listeners, that there are a lot of different approaches and treatments. Some of these we have discussed at length on the podcast. We've had experts come and talk about different like wave therapies and whatnot. So it's really, really important. Like we encourage to consult with your medical providers about what the right treatments, the right regimen is for you. As a lot of these things are under, study and review from, FDA, and the like. And we did mention the NIH study when it came to some of the wave therapies and whatnot. So it's really, really important to do everything from our perspective in conjunction with your medical provider to make sure that you have the right combination of treatments for you. And Susan, I want to ask you about, like, beyond the physical health, how does extending one's sexual lifespan support mental health, confidence, and emotional connection?
Okay, so let me ask you a question, Mark. If your penis is nice and hard and veiny and works really well and you're getting laid frequently and you feel super good when you get out of the shower and you see how great your penis looks, how do you feel? Confident,
Well,
happy, right?
one,
Like, look
one,
at that smile.
yes, one would assume that. Do we have any like data has this been studied? And I know it's like, the population that is sexually active and participating in studies that would fit into, let's say, what we call the Sexspan category, right? Let's say deep into their, like 60s, 70s, 80s may not be very wide, but do we have any data that supports this outside of just anecdotally? I would agree with you. People would tend to feel better, like if things are working in that department.
There's no money in a study for that. In academia and the allopathic world, they don't even study anything about vacuum erection devices beyond maintaining penile volume after trauma. Like, I mean, no, there's no studies. There's no studies for women. There's no studies for any of this stuff because there's no money in it. That's what makes everything go around.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. So I would tend to agree with you. I would imagine that it does lead to, better mental health, confidence, and connection. But we say we don't have any data right now that either supports or negates that at the moment, at least.
I don't need any data to know that my sex life fuels my vitality, my spring in my step, my confidence, my health, my sleep. I mean, look how good you sleep after you have an orgasm. You don't need a study for this. It's okay. If you can take my word that having sex will make you happier. I mean, like, well, actually, that's not true, Mark. There are some guys for whom after they ejaculate, they're depressed and depleted. So, I mean, that is true. So if it makes you feel sad, don't do it. If it makes you feel good, try and keep doing it.
Right. Okay. So that's so I think like it's easy enough, let's say at my age, to kind of look at it as like, well, either you feel good or you don't. But for people who, because a lot of like people who are listening to this podcast are on the fence about whether to even address this.
God,
Right?
please
And
address it. You'll feel so much happier if you have a hard on.
yes,
I mean, hard-ons are like life force. That's what they are. Why would you not want to do the small amount of effort. Take some nitric oxide. As a matter of fact, one of the, I'll send you some of these too, Mark. This is my nitric oxide supplement. It's called Flow Nitric Oxide Booster. It's not made from chemicals in a lab. It's actually extracted from organic fruit and vegetables. And it's made from watermelon rind, which is citrulline. The watermelon is called the Citrellus vulgaris. That's the Latin name for watermelon. And watermelon rind has a ton of citrulline in it. And citrulline for men over 40 is better than arginine. And also citrulline is better for people who have any kind of HSV, which a lot of people have cold sores or what have you. And it also has spinach powder, and it also has pine bark and some sour cherry for vitamin C. And this is my number one best-selling product. And I've been making it since 2019, so 6 years. And I've just gotten my volumes high enough that I can give the first bottle away for free. So for your listeners, you can go to GetFlow, F-L-O-W, getflowfree.com, and I give you the first bottle free. And let me know if you want me to send you some. I'd be happy to send some over to you.
Send them over. I will take it and report back. I'm
Good,
very
please
honest.
do.
All that being said, so what I also would like to know about is the following. What are some of the most common myths that hold people back from believing that they can enjoy sex well into like their later years? And this is like really, again, really important. And I really want to kind of slow down with this question because like people who come to this podcast are trying to figure this out. Many of them are like in relationships where they haven't been sexually active for multiple years. And like, it's easy when you're sexually active to be like, just do it. It's going to be great. But when you're in that moment, like it is hard. It's hard. Like you don't know how your partner's going to respond. You're like nervous, uncomfortable, don't trust your body. So I think it's important, like if we could speak to some of those listeners, like talk about what some of those myths, misperceptions are that hold people back from really being able to invest into this part of their life.
I think generally men are afraid. I would notice that generally men are in denial about how far gone they are. And I think that's testosterone that makes them overly confident, which is great. You guys are super lucky that you're dominant in testosterone because it gives you, full speed ahead. It gives you goal orientation. It gives you confidence and things like that. But it also can tend to have you overestimate or underestimate things and make a decision that isn't in your best interest. Like dudes do stupid stuff sometimes. You know what I mean? Like take risks with their health and things like that they shouldn't, like STIs. I'm not going to get anything. Oh my God, now you've spread MGen to 3 women, like that kind of stuff. And that's just, believe me, Mark, I love men. I'm surrounded by men. I have the full support of so many men in my world. I help men. It's what I do. So I say this with a loving heart. Same thing for women. Women struggle with estrogen dominance because they're up in their head. They can't get out of their head and into their body. They have a hard time settling. They've got more anxiety. These are just the artifacts of those hormones. Hormones have, protective aspects and they have supportive aspects, and these are just some of the vagaries of being in the human body of these hormone signaling features. And so I think for a lot of guys, they wait until they're almost too far gone, and then it's like extra work to remediate the aging and damage that has happened. So that's one thing I would say is if you think you might have a problem, you probably do. Go to the doctor. And I cannot tell you another, if I had a nickel for every time kind of things, it is that guys will send me a picture and they'll be like, what's this thing on my dick? Or whatever. They're always asking me, what do I do about this thing? What do I do about that? And I'm like, go to the urologist. It's like, go to the urologist. This is what they're there for. And it's interesting too that Hospitals know this. Hospitals know guys don't go in for their regular health checks, their blood work, things like that. And so they make their urologist's office, which is the first place a guy will go because he waits till the last minute to deal with a problem. They make them like really fancy and they make them like dude lounges, so that the hospital can get people in and then be like, the urologist will say, let's get your blood work done too. So I'd say generally didn't watch out for denial because it's not just a river. That's the first thing. So the minute you start seeing shrinkage or you start having to masturbate harder than ever or, looking at harder and harder, aggressive porn to get off or any of these kinds of escalation moments where you don't get erections at night. You're not making up with morning wood anymore. Dude, this is the canary in the coal mine because it's not just erectile dysfunction. It leads to heart disease. This is the signal of heart disease. You're laying down plaque in your arteries. You're going to end up with heart attacks, strokes, stents. It's going to just really take you down. So the first indications of these kinds of issues, start taking your nitric oxide, go see your urologist, get your penis pumped, consider your acoustic wave treatments. And my husband gets them every few years. He's 62 now. And, he gets a little bendy and I'm like, all right, we're calling up Judd and he's going in and getting your gains waves. And, he pumps. He uses his vacuum pump once, twice a week. I remind him to do it. I want him to keep things going. I feed him a ton of greens all the time, and he takes his flows every night. Night is better for taking nitric oxide because you actually replete your stores while you sleep. It's a recovery system, so that's beneficial as well.
Okay. What would you say is the first step or first set of steps that somebody can take even today if they make that decision that they want to make this investment to expand their sex span?
Yeah. So first thing is start taking nitric oxide booster, right? Start eating leafy green vegetables, start doing high intensity interval training. Go run up a hill in your neighborhood and then rest. Run up again and rest. Run up again and rest. That is HIIT, high intensity interval. It pushes your heart to the max and allows recovery. Push, recover, push, recover. That's one of the best things you can do for your vascular system. Get a penis pump, get a vacuum erection device and start using it a couple of times a week to restore rigidity, to restore blood carrying capacity. And if that doesn't get you back to full erection, then look at acoustic wave, look at a gains wave series of treatments. It takes 6 treatments, and then it takes about 6 months to achieve full effect. You'll start seeing some initial results in a couple of weeks, but within 6 months, you'll see restored function. If you don't get full restored function at that time, and don't forget to get your testosterone checked. You got to go back and maybe do another series of treatments and keep doing your pumping and those kinds of things. So, it's not like a giant amount of things. It's like up your nitric oxide, check your testosterone, use your vacuum erection device. And then if that all doesn't work, go get your gains waves. And you can also get PRP, which is called a P shot, platelet-rich plasma. But now, if you can afford it and you're kind of like, I'm the luxury guy, hit me with everything, I recommend stem cell injections. You can use your own endogenous stem cells, or you can use autologous stem cells, which are purchased from cord blood, placenta, etc., and are cultured and grown out and then injected into your penis. PRP is nice. It was kind of, to me, the 1.0 version. It's not bad. Do that if that's your price range. What's nice is that it calls to the healing growth factors of your body to come and repair all that tissue that's atrophied. The downside is that it's a little inflammatory in the way that it works. And so I just like the stem cells because they're not inflammatory. They're just straight up reparative. But it's all good. Anything that you can do like that is great.
Okay, so thank you very much, Susan, for being with us. This is extremely informative,
Oh,
and
good.
it's like super encouraging to just hear like how many people you've been able to help, and how many people out there like are like searching for and interested, but also hesitant to make this investment into expanding their sex span, into trying to, like you said, recover from some of the atrophy and make those improvements, and hearing just how passionate you are about this. And like you said, it's not that many steps, right?
It's not,
It is a commitment. There's no question. It's a commitment.
it feels good
Um,
though. That's the nice thing about pumping is
I
it
think also
actually feels good.
yeah, the way
Like
you give it, the way you like talk about this and give it over, it's so encouraging. I I hope our listeners are able to kind of like take that in, that there's so much that still can be done, and the benefits like down the road are like innumerable. So, I really really appreciate you bringing your passion to this topic, to our podcast. We cannot wait to get this out to our listeners.
thank you, honey. I have one more thing I want to talk about. Do you have 2 more minutes for me on the show?
Yeah.
I really like to encourage men to use prostate tools. You have to think about your erectile function. It's a combination of testicular function, penile function, and prostate function. And of course, that darn urethral canal that runs out of your bladder and through your prostate. If you have any kind of prostate enlargement, you're having BPH, you're having nighttime urination issues, it really creeps up on a guy. And then it can lead to things like prostatitis or prostate cancer, or what have you. And as men live longer, they have a much higher likelihood of prostate cancer. And I like to really just normalize a lot of what we've been talking about. We're really normalizing a lifetime of great sex, reversing of atrophy, not assuming that that's what's going to happen. And I think using prostate stimulation tools can be so valuable because whenever you're using a prostate stimulator, and I'm going to show you my 3 favorites and let me know if you have any you like. When you use a prostate stimulator, what are you doing? You're generating blood flow. What is blood flow? The healing and growth factors of your own body come to the tissue and support its health. So there's 3 prostate tools I like. The first one is like the starter tool, if you will, for the guys that are like, oh my God, I don't want to stick something in my butt. And I'm like, trust me, you will love this. It feels so darn good. This one is Molto. This is by Mystery Vibe, the same one that made those 2 really nice medical quality penis rings. Molto's really nice. Again, all the stuff's on Drive Desire, but I'm telling you the name so you can kind of remember everything. This one is really good. It's got a nice flared base. It's got fantastic vibration. The second one I like is by the same company that makes the Atom and the Pulse Duo that I mentioned earlier, Hot Octopus. This is called the Plex. And the Plex is really nice. It's a little bit bigger and it has 2 types of vibration. It has both what they call bass and treble. So kind of like a rumbly vibe and a buzzy vibe that you can operate and turn up and down. And the reason that I like that is that within your body, the way that you process sensation, your brain is your biggest sex organ because it's processing sensation and it's telling you when something feels good. And the way that it tells you is through something called the somatosensory system. And the somatosensory system relies on nerves, corpuscles, different mechanoreceptors, different cellular signaling systems that tell the brain what's going on. And some of those systems like stretch, some like light pressure, some are registering the deeper sensations. And so what's cool about it is that when you can have control over kind of the lighter and the deeper sensations, you can dial it in depending on how your body feels that day to stimulate the prostate. And then my last product that I love for coupled play, a lot of women who follow me take care of their husband's sexual health like I take care of mine. We make them the urologist appointments. We tell them they've got to go get their gains wave. We remind them to do their pumping because we know we're Dr. Moms in our household, and we know we want to keep our husband's erectile function going strong till the day we both die, hoping we pass away having fantastic simultaneous orgasms. And so this third tool that I really like is called the Vice 2. And this is in Neros. They're a very, very popular brand of anal pleasure tools. And what I like is that the Vice 2 has a handheld remote. And I like to get yoni massages from my husband a lot. And often I'll say to him, pop in your Vice, pop in your prostate toy, and I'll hold the remote. And while you're giving me a yoni massage, I'll press the buttons and give you different sensations. When you're doing really good things to me, I'm going to be doing really good things back to you. And so that's a way I get my husband to do prostate stimulation, is I remind him to do it while we're in our lovemaking zone. And that can be really fun too, because he'll be like, oh, she likes what I'm doing. I can feel the vibrations change. It's got like 18 patterns in here. And it has this little thing at the top. I call it the zhuzher. It, when you press it, it kind of like gives you like a little turbo boost. My husband gets a lot of zhuzhing. So I didn't want to leave the conversation without like a plug, if you will, for prostate pleasuring.
Yeah, so it's both pleasure but also restorative features to it. So like it sounds like in your like own sexual scripts or routines or how you play, both incorporating like both pleasure and trying to make sure that we're getting these things done at a like enough of a frequency to get the health benefits of them as well.
Exactly. And you guys are busy. And you got to be reminded to take care of yourself. Most of you are like that, and we women, we watch over our men. And so if you aren't lucky enough to have somebody watching over you, then you have to watch over yourself. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself, because we want that nice, veiny, firm, hard cock available to us till the day we die, please.
Okay, so like, to that end, we're going to leave a link to like the websites, all the products and whatnot. And again, it's not a one size fits all model. Some of the things are going to appeal to you. Some of the things are not. But definitely we encourage you to check out the website, the links, check out some of these products, because these are things that can help extend, expand, and take that sex span of yours for years to come. Once again, Susan, thank you very much for being with us. And we
Pleasure,
look
Mark.
forward to getting this episode out.
Great to get to know you. Thanks for having
Excellent.
me, and thanks for all the great work you do in the world supporting men. We love you for that. So thank you.